Note: the following was sourced from the description of a 2005 eBay auction. No reserve. I just want it gone. The following auction is true. I will not be mentioning any names here, as I do not want any of my family or friends to be hounded by people wanting more information. The only one who would know anything other than me would be my fiance anyway. If anyone has questions, they can be asked of me directly. I please ask that no one try to contact my fiance, as she has gone through quite enough with this ordeal. Pictures are at the bottom of the page. Okay, I've come to the last thing I can think of to get rid of this cursed thing, but I'll get to that later. Last summer, my fiance and I were visiting her family in Florida and taking a stop in Disney World. As big fans of the Lilo and Stitch movies, we were interested in buying some Stitch toys. We ended up getting quite a few of all shapes and sizes. We had no problem with any of them. They're all regular friggin' teddy bears. One, however, has been a problem since day one. That was the one we picked up on our way from Orlando to Daytona Beach. We stopped at a little out of the way place while looking for a restaurant. This place was small and kind of dingy, but they had food in a gift shop, if you could call it that. I wish I could remember what it was called, but the only thing that seems to ring a bell is Leary. Anyway, they had another Stitch toy there, which looked just as good as any we had picked up in Disney World. It was a quarter of the price. The person behind the till seemed a little too pleased to be making the sale, and now I can see why. Anyway, we visited my fiance's family and flew back home without any incident. We thought we had just had a normal vacation. We displayed the toys on our TV stand with some other stuffed animals my fiance had collected over the years. Nothing has ever moved them, except for when cleaning and dusting, and then they are promptly put back in place. After the new Stitch toys were put up, about once a week we would find one or two of the other stuffed animals on the floor on certain mornings when we would get up, originally thinking nothing of the fact we have a dog who we thought maybe bumped the stand. More on him later. We would put up the animals back up on the stand. This became a semi-regular occurrence until early November, when we awoke to a loud slam in the middle of the night. I got my fiance to stay upstairs and crept down to see what was happening. I had the light on at the top of the stairs, which meant I could not see clearly into the living room to see what had happened, but I did notice some different things scattered on the floor. I turned the light on at the front door and saw that the items on the floor were actually all of the stuffed animals and other Stitch toys. The only thing left on our TV stand was the Stitch we had picked up from that store. That would have been enough, but the top of the TV was cracked as well. It looked as though something heavy had been dropped onto it. We still have no idea what happened there. At this point, I knew that there was something wrong with this toy. So right then and there, I threw it in the garbage in our kitchen cupboard. I put the stuffed animals back as well as I could, and went back up to bed to explain to my fiance why that Stitch would not be on the shelf when she got up in the morning. Since I didn't want to scare her, I told her it got ripped open when it fell off the shelf, and I had to throw it away, as it looked too bad to repair. Sleep was hard to come by that night. The next day I got up early, emptied the garbage, and threw it in the dumpster in the parking lot before leaving for work. Problem solved, or so I thought. Later that morning I got a call from my fiance asking why I thought it would be funny to joke about throwing one of her stuffed toys away. I explained that I put it in the dumpster that morning, and she asked why it was still on the shelf. Both doors were still locked, and no windows or anything were broken. I left work early. As soon as I got home, I explained to my fiance what had happened and told her I was getting rid of the toy. I grabbed it and left and drove out to the Safeway that is a few blocks away. I tossed the thing in the dumpster there and took off for home. Thankfully that time, it didn't come back for 4 days. The strangest thing is that it was clean. It looked like it had never left the house. Trying to dump the Stitch in different places on the other side of the city, etc., became a regular thing. Since no one believed us when we tried to tell the story, there was nothing else we could do, really. Thankfully, neither my fiance nor I were seriously hurt at all. The only injury worth mentioning was it had tripped me, as far as I can tell, as I walked down our front step one day. I didn't notice it there when leaving the house, and I definitely caught my foot on something, and when I turned back it was there. Thank God I only got a scraped knee and palm. Christmas was thankfully quiet in regards to our problem. Unfortunately, right after the new year, the worst came. I had taken the teddy out to the landfill site just outside the city limit and buried it under any other debris I could find close by. It had been close to 3 weeks since we had seen the thing, and we were starting to think that the nightmare was over. In the early evening on a Thursday, I let our dog outside, just as we normally do all the time. After he had been outside for about 10 minutes, I thought maybe he had found some food or something else to eat, as he usually does. I looked outside and saw him laying in the snow, and he wasn't moving. I ran outside and grabbed him, and noticed the Stitch toy laying beside him. Our dog was breathing but unconscious. I rushed him inside and called the vet. We were able to take him to the emergency clinic, and after examining him, we were told that they could notice nothing actually wrong with him. It appeared that he had just passed out, but his blood pressure was extremely high, and he was still having problems breathing. They kept him overnight for observation, which was good because I wanted to keep him safe as possible. When we got home, we decided to burn the toy in our fireplace, but we could not get it lit. We even tried lighter fluid, but as soon as it touched him, it was completely absorbed. He did not feel damp and did not smell of the fluid. If we could not burn it, we could incapacitate it. I grabbed a pair of scissors and cut off each arm and leg and head. I took the 6 pieces, put them in a garbage bag, tied the top, and put it outside of our front step to get rid of it in the morning. The next morning, I went outside to get the stitch, and the bag was gone. I could not find it anywhere in our yard or the parking lot. I went back inside, and there it was. The toy was back on the TV stand, and it looked like it had never been touched. Not a speck of dirt, not a rip or tear on it. I grabbed the toy, ran to the car, went downstairs, and ran into the first pawn shop I could find. The owner said they do not take used stuffed toys as they could be dirty. I told him that he could just have it for free. I just did not want it. He started to ask why, but I left it on the counter and ran out the store. I thought maybe if someone else were to buy it, it would stay with them and away from us. February was a great month. Our dog was healthy, and my fiance and I were able to sleep peacefully, as the stitch was nowhere to be seen. I felt bad that maybe we'd have put the curse on someone else, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. 2 days ago, it came back. I opened the front door to go to work Monday morning, and it was sitting on the front step, facing me. I put it in the house, pinned under our TV, and told my fiance about it, and to leave the house as fast as possible. After discussing what to do for a few days, we have decided that we really have no other option than to try and list this on eBay and get it as far away from ourselves as possible. We do not want to send it to someone who is not expecting it, and we want to send it to someone who is asking for it. This is why the opening bid is 1 penny, and there is no reserve. We just want to get rid of it. Thankfully, it has stayed under the TV up till now, with no real signs of change. I don't want to sound like a wuss, but this bear is the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And I am a horror fanatic. It may look like a regular stuffed toy, but it's evil. Please, if you have children or pets, think twice before bidding. This is not a toy for a child. I cannot say with any assurance that you will have the same experience as us, but there is a strong likelihood that you will see what I mean, and I do not want to feel any guilt for harm coming to a child or animal. We also cannot guarantee that the item will stay with you after you have received it. If it stays as persistent as it has previously, it may try to get back to us. I will not be putting a return address on the package, as if when you realize that the item is evil, as I'm sure you will, I do not want you sending it back to us. It will become your responsibility as soon as it enters your possession. The buyer is to pay for shipping in whatever form they would like. I can dismember the item before shipping it as well, if you would feel safer that way, but I cannot guarantee it will arrive in this form. If you would like the toy shipped without being cut up, I will attempt to immobilize it with either duct tape or rope or a combination of the two. It's your choice. Payment accepted for this auction is PayPal only. I do this because I do not want the winning buyer to have my address for the same reason listed above. Again, I have to warn that if you have children or pets, please think about what you are bidding on. We are not responsible for anything that happens after this item leaves our possession. The pictures below are as follows. There is an image of the stitch as it is now, trapped under the TV. There is a picture of the top of the TV where it was damaged previously. The last picture is an old picture we took as we had finished decorating, showing where the Stitch was sitting with other stuffed toys. In the second from the right, serious bidders only, please. I do not want to have to keep this for any longer than I have to. 10 days for the auction is already pushing it, but I want it to actually be sold. So I need as many people to see it as possible. If you have less than 20 feedback, please let me know you are serious before bidding. And lastly, if you have any questions, please ask. Thank you.